you talked about everybody's into something, everybody's doing something.
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have a lot of that in my life right now.
And they were like, but they were doing it. Like, that's the thing too.
No,
is,
and
like they weren't talking about it.
I mean that in both ways.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's just not a lot of like, and part of that is just the people that there's a certain level of inauthentic that comes with some of that.
Yeah.
Maybe I do try to distance from. I don't like the way that just sounded. I don't mean that in like but I think there's a level of like, I don't know, we can explore that. But I miss that energy of everybody's pursuing something. Everybody's got a bunch of projects that they're pushing for. Everybody's in that state where it's like, okay, I got to do this and this. And if you could get a few people around you that are pursuing that, it does crazy things for your confidence and for your ability.
100%. Yeah,
because you're gonna soak that up and just carry that like that's reality. And I feel like a lot of maybe part of it is an older thing, but I was having the thought last night, I'm like, maybe I do need to just like try to associate with some, not just younger, but get more young people around, because there's an interesting relationship, because there's a level of naivete that they don't know what they don't know. So there is a level of, you look at that and you're like, oh, well, that's, tried that. It doesn't. But then there's also a level of that is helpful, where we're a little bit jaded, I think. And we look at things and it's like, oh, I can't do that. It's like, no, you can. You just didn't try it this way.
Right.
And so, just trying to recapture some of that energy of just everybody's doing something. Everybody's got something going. Everybody's got, one or two things on the burner.
And
I miss that so much.
And it was great because people were trying to do stuff at a high level. They were invested in the craft. And, there's some vanity that's there. There's some attention seeking. There's some materialism. There's degrees of that, I think, in all of that. But it was just exciting to be to be around. And, there were a few people where you kind of went, they're a little, I don't know, it's not working for them, or it's not the right fit for them, but they're going to still live here and like pursue work, more like a career, in the office part of the Hollywood machinery, or, that kind of stuff. And not that is like some big step down or whatever, because there's lots of incredible people, from executives to lawyers to whatever, that are all part of that machinery. And
to put on a good performance, you have to have somebody that sets up the stage.
Yeah. But just to be around, and again, the thing it wasn't like it just started happening in LA. I mean, I was in acting school with people that like, this is going to be my life. And you knew some of the people where it was like, well, they're going to move into something else, or they're going to, adapt. Like me, I kind of shifted from acting more to writing. And then you're in film school, and everybody there is passionately pursuing their careers as filmmakers. And then we all, like the majority of us, then moved to LA. So not only am I connected to my undergrad friends, but I'm connected to my grad friends. And, I have a close friend that I went to undergrad with, and we were working together on the concert stuff. And you're just sort of like riding that wave that really started when I was like 17 years old. It's 10 years later. You've been through, 6 years of schooling. You've made a bunch of stuff. Even when like Nick and I were in Vancouver working on So You Think You Can Dance Canada, we brought a Canon 7D and
made the short film.
Yeah, said to ourselves, we're going to make a short film based on an idea that a story he told me, and we turned it into a short film. And we would work 14 hours, and then we would shoot in this historic hotel that we were staying in the hallways. We covered a room in plastic. They were doing Evil Dead the musical at the theater we were working at, so we borrowed a bunch of fake blood and covered the plastic that was all over this room in fake blood, and we shot all this stuff. Then we went home and we edited it. And then we submitted it to festivals, and it got in, and we made DVD screeners, and it was like, and then we went on and made a short film. Like, so this whole thing.
Where is that energy right now? Not saying you don't have it or anything, but there's people listening, and there's me thinking here. I'm like, oh, that's just something that happens when you're younger, or like,
I think,
and
there's a reason it happens when you're younger,
but
though.
I don't like. I challenge the assumption that it's only like that. It can't be done when you're past. Like, people like to say, well, yeah, that was possible before I had a family or before I had kids, and I kind of think that part of that is just it's a really convenient way to let yourself off the hook, but then also,
Absolutely.
Also, it's where's that energy? How does that? We watched before, last week or a couple weeks ago, we had the Neistat brothers on in the background, and they're just, it's like Casey and Van and all of like the Oscar and all of the little characters that have gone on to do like series or films, and it's Josh Safdie and Benny Safdie, and they're just like, literally you've got a video of Josh Safdie without a shirt, like helping them tear down a wall in a New York City studio.
Yeah.
You've got, Benny Safdie like carrying plywood, or, these are two of the best filmmakers that we have right now, American filmmakers that we have right now. And yeah, I mean, just that, wasn't Greta Gerwig a part of that group? And I mean, you just have all of this talent just doing, everybody had something in the oven. Everybody had something going at all times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that just drives this, I got to do this. I got to do, like, anything's possible.
Yeah.
I miss that so fucking much.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, like, I want to cultivate, we've talked about this before. I want to cultivate that so bad. And I know I'm just sitting here talking about it and complaining about it, but I really want to challenge that premise that, like, well, we're older now. And like, I mean, obviously I don't have kids yet. You have kids, but I don't think that's the factor. I think there's something else. It just becomes more difficult to.
Well, I mean, I do think that there are pressures that mount.
Yes.
And those pressures are self-inflicted. They are situational, and self-inflicted could be, big purchases that you have a responsibility to see through, whether it's a vehicle, a home, a lifestyle, and then, yes, kids, and the time that is needed to be dedicated to them. A spouse, even just getting married, is a whole new set of sort of responsibility, and then you have married yourself to the hopes and dreams of another person, and you play a role in them achieving their hopes and dreams, and you have not only you have their perspective on how it's going with what you're pursuing.
Always in the back of your mind.
And then
maybe
cultural expectations, the back to the desire thing. You have, well, you're this old, you should have a house.
You talk
by
about
now.
the in-laws all the time.
You should have this. You should have this kind of savings. You should have this kind of retirement. And I think for some people, those forces move them toward doing more of what's expected of them, the more safe and responsible thing. And they move away from that lifestyle of pursuing something, a dream or whatever, at all costs.
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer.